All right, let's talk about something that you do every single day, thousands of times a day, without ever thinking about it. We're going to dive into phonology, which is really just the secret architecture, the hidden rules behind every single word you speak. I'm serious. Go ahead and try it right now. Say tar. Now say star. If you put your hand right in front of your mouth when you say tar, you'll feel this little puff of air, right? But when you say star, poof, it's gone. So, what's up with that? That little puff of air, it's not random. It's actually governed by a super precise system that you've totally mastered without ever taking a single lesson. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and take a look at the secret blueprint that shapes every sound you make. And this brings us to the first big piece of the puzzle. How in the world do we manage to understand each other at all? I mean, really think about it. Everyone's voice is totally different. The size of our mouths, our vocal cords, it all varies. Every sound we make is physically unique. Heck, even you don't say the same word the exact same way twice. And yet somehow we understand each other without any effort. How is that possible? Well, the answer is phonology. See, our brains are amazing. They're not actually focused on the raw physical sound waves hitting our ears. Instead, they're listening for something more abstract, a kind of mental blueprint for each sound. And phonology is the study of that blueprint. To really get a handle on this, let's use an analogy. Let's think about sounds as if we're in the business of architecture. So, in your mind, you have the perfect blueprint for a sound. This is the ideal, the concept. But when you actually open your mouth to speak, you create the physical building, the real sound that travels through the air. The building is always based on the blueprint, but it might have tiny little variations each time you build it. In linguistics, that mental blueprint has a name. It's called a phoneme. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sound that can actually change a word's meaning. It's the pure abstract idea of a sound, like the concept of p. And the physical building, the thing you actually hear, that's called an allophone. This is the real, concrete sound that you produce. So that puff of air you felt in the word pin, that's a specific allophone, a specific building of the phoneme P. And this is where it all clicks together. You have one single blueprint, the phoneme pi, but it has at least two different buildings, or allophones. You've got the one with the puff of air, we call that aspirated, like in the word pin, and you've got the one without the puff, the unaspirated one, like in spin. Same blueprint, just different constructions depending on the neighborhood it's in. Okay, so if these phonemes are just abstract ideas floating around in our heads, how do we prove they even exist? Well, linguists have this beautifully simple tool for just that, and it's called the minimal pair test. Let's start with a simple word pat. Now let's just change one single sound. We get the word bat. That's it. That's the whole game. The only thing that changed was that first sound, and switching from a p to a b created a completely different word with a totally different meaning. This is what we call a minimal pair. When you can find two words that differ by only one sound in the exact same spot, you've just proven that those two sounds are separate phonemes in that language. Your brain has to treat them as different blueprints because swapping them changes everything. So now that we have our blueprints, our phonemes, we can't just slap them together any which way we want. Oh no, there are rules. Think of them like a city's building codes. These rules are called phonotactics, and it's your brain's deep unconscious knowledge about which sound combinations are legal in your language. It's the reason a word like figs sounds perfectly fine, but a word like sig just feels wrong. It's not a word, and it couldn't be. It violates the building codes of English. But, language isn't just static. When we speak fast, in the real world, sounds start to influence each other. They start to blend together in some really fascinating ways. This is a process called coarticulation, and really, it's just our mouths being lazy in the most efficient way possible. To speak more fluently, we start getting ready to make the next sound before we've even finished the current one. Our tongue and lips are always taking shortcuts. And these shortcuts lead to some very predictable patterns. Three of the most common ones are assimilation, where sounds become more like their neighbors, nasalization, where a vowel takes on a nasal quality, and elision, where we just drop sounds entirely. Here's a perfect example of assimilation you use all the time. You probably don't say, I have to go. You say, I have to go. So why? Well, the V in have is voiced. Your vocal cords are buzzing, but the T in to is voiceless. It's just physically easier to make them both voiceless so that V sound just morphs into an F. It's a simple efficiency hack. And elision is everywhere. Take the phrase, he must be. That DB consonant cluster is kind of a mouthful, so in casual speech, what do? We just drop the T sound. He must be tired. We do this constantly without a second thought. So, and this is really important, these shortcuts aren't mistakes. They aren't signs of lazy or sloppy speech. They are the exact opposite. They are signs of a highly efficient, highly optimized system doing its job perfectly. These are the features, not the bugs, that allow for rapid, fluid communication. So the next time you're talking, just listen to yourself for a second. You've been following these invisible rules your entire life. Now that you know where to look, what other patterns are you going to start to hear?